back, everybody. Welcome back to Words with Wayman. I'm your host, Matt Wayman. We're coming back hot with a big, spicy part 2. Denver Improv genius, all-around good guy, Mr. Justin Franzen. Welcome back.
Hi, guys.
Thank you for coming out, everybody. We left off, we were talking about you had been finishing up in Chicago doing improv. Getting a little upset in the winters, and so you brought it back to Denver after that.
Yep.
Hometown kid coming back.
Yep.
Did you know what you wanted to do when you got back, or were you just like, I'm done, I'm just moving back, new start?
I knew that I'd seen people, just by dumb luck, the team I was on, we all happened to, one guy moved to Phoenix to help start a theater, other people moved to St. Louis, so he helped start the Torch in Phoenix.
Cool. What in St. Louis?
Improv Shop.
Nice, yeah,
Slowly,
they're doing
those
good.
Guys, they're fucking great.
Yeah, that's crazy, that's cool, you know them.
And I was just like, I knew that there wasn't anything like that in Denver.
Yeah.
Bovine was great, but it was family friendly.
Of course, clean.
You weren't able to do the content I loved doing now.
Yeah.
I had changed.
As a young man, too, I mean, so you're like, what, 20, 21 at this point, 22?
When I come back?
Yeah, when you come back.
No, I'm about 25.
25, yeah. 26. So you're digging into some stuff, some issues that you want to talk about.
And tell me about it. Yeah. Those are the nice, heavy drinking days.
Of course. God. I'm just thinking it's all going down. It's all already over.
Fuck, parents' basement.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? All just like...
gathering all this material.
But I came back, I auditioned for a team, and there ended up
at the Bovine?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And there was a Herald team, and the guy that was coaching it wanted to be a player coach, and
which never works.
Never works.
God.
And they were like, well, does someone just want to coach? And I had the experience, but never the opportunity to coach.
Yeah.
So I jumped on that, and my first year here, I spent more time probably coaching than performing.
Cool.
Every once in a while.
Yeah, which is definitely fulfilling as well to see people grow as improvisers.
It's great. I still see a bunch of those people all over the circuit. It's so cool to just see them kicking ass in their own little ways.
Yeah.
And then I went and did a short stint in L.A., because I was like, okay, you keep talking about process and stuff, and it's like, oh, I got to go, make the jump.
Everybody, I feel like a lot of times thinks they need to, kind of.
Well, they think it's a logical next step, and there was a big push from a bunch of Chicago guys going out at the time, and I went out just to kind of audition, ended up making it on a house team out there, and I was doing a one-man show at the time, Fun Dumpster.
Cool, that's a fun name, too.
And that one I ended up doing a couple shows at UCB.
Cool.
What is it? West Side Comedy Connection.
So you saw it early, because the one-man shows are kind of a hot thing now, too.
Yeah.
Like, just kind of picking up a lot of steam. And, people getting really well known for, like, improvisers doing one-person shows.
Mm-hmm. Well, it was starting to catch on out there. There was two guys doing it. Pat O'Brien was doing his. Cool. Another guy, Hans Holsen, had come back and did, Lars Barr's Tennis Star.
That's fun.
He's just this weird lanky dude. And he just moved to L.A., and I really hope his ass gets picked up.
Nice.
But yeah, so I did the L.A. thing, and I hated
it.
I could not do a real fucking show. It felt to save my life because, everyone wanted there might be an agent in the audience.
Oh, God.
I'm like, dude, we're in the fucking dick box at IO
I was
West.
Say, nobody gives a shit about the show.
Can we just do a set instead of you bulldozing that character you worked on the walk over here?
Oh, God. Yeah, seriously. Coming in hot with a nice line to drop.
Oh, man. Oh,
just heavy-handed.
Or the guys where their girlfriend comes every show, front row, and you're like, this is great. I know you guys are going to have total weird, some infatuation sex afterwards.
Oh, God.
But
honey, you killed it up there.
Yeah, cut the cord.
That very misogynistic character that you did for the entire show.
Yeah. Just to impress her. Like, fuck off, dude. And I ended up coming back. And that's where I was just like, fuck it, I'm going to dig in here.
Yeah.
Because someone's got to.
I think there's something huge to be said on people not trying to, but at least you went out and saw it. But I love the resurgence of local scenes these days and people that are down to rebuild something and down to make something. Because improv before that was just Bovine, and people don't look at Denver as an improv town. And now I think that's starting to change.
I think it's totally starting to change. We're a lot bigger. But, it's like, so I started producing bar prov shows. and bringing that stuff here,
which is fun.
Oh well, but that's that's what
You
I
have to.
produce. I produced Barprov there. I was 26. I can't buy a venue. I can't rent a
Oh,
venue.
of course, yeah.
It's just me. I've got no product established. No one knows who the hell I am.
Yeah.
I'm just some Yahoo that came back from Chicago 5 years that they don't know.
Yeah, they don't know.
The
And they're
circuit's completely changed.
why
the hell
haven't
am
I
I
seen him on
coaching
TV?
3 weeks in?
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Why'd he come back? You know, then you come back and you've got that whole failure, just stigma about you of, oh, he didn't hack it out there. But
It's
I
like,
never
no,
wanted. I never
want
wanted to
to.
end up out there.
Yeah, and a lot of people think the blowing up is what we're actually even looking for. And it's like, no, I think you're on the same page of it's like we just want to be able to make a living off this thing that we love to do, which when you eventually get there is a different beast completely. But
well, yeah, because that was still the time where no one got paid. No one in town even knew, thought of coaches' fees, which is really important. In the sense is it's not super expensive, but it's out of respect and it shows commitment to the craft from the group because people are flaky.
Yeah. I mean, you pay money for a lot of other things in life. You know, you pay money when you go to a bar and get a beer. It's like they're giving you knowledge. So
well, these are people you want knowledge from. You know what I mean? Like they've been writing for Adult Swim or just came back from Boom Chicago, which is the big club in Amsterdam, which is the big Europe feeder. A bunch of Heather Ann Campbell was Boom.
Cool.
A lot of people, and you just get to learn from them.
Yeah, for the greats.
Yeah, it's like for $5. Like
Which
I'm gonna
is
bitch
crazy.
about $5, and
Yeah.
this guy's gonna.
What is $5?
Yeah, and he likes us. That's what's even better. And that also taught me that he's just a normal dude. Is being in Chicago. I mean, I remember smoking weed next to Amy Poehler in the green
cool.
room.
Yeah,
and I didn't want
her
to come
being
up
cool.
and be like, "Oh my God, you're Amy Poehler." She was wearing a shitty little costume tux T-shirt,
That's funny.
and I said, "Nice shirt, dude." She went, "Yeah."
I
That's
feel
my
like
exchange.
that's all you want. That's all. Like what I've ever. Even if you're the most funny, the coolest, you just want these people to be nice and cool. Like it doesn't matter how talented you are. If you're still a shithead, you're still kind of like I'm still kind of like I don't like you.
Just be real.
Just be a real person.
And I think it's the writers, because a lot of writers are improvisers. It was so fun in Chicago, the Barprov venue I went to. One night we had the writing cast of SNL.
Nice.
With Seth Meyers showed up.
That's pretty
And
cool.
they just wanted a fucking Barprov stage to hop up on, and I happened to be the closest one running that night.
Yeah, that's all it is.
It's so cool, but you don't see that too much in like your LAs. Sometimes in New York, but in New York it's mainly cockstrokes
Oh,
instead
absolutely.
of like legitimate one in reps.
Of course, people like actually want to get there. So then you went through. So then, how did Grafenberg Productions come about? Which is the theater the company that you run?
Grafenberg started off as a group in Chicago that we were called Grothenberg.
Okay.
Because I just, instead of Googling it, I just like knew it and just phonetically spelled it out how I thought it was.
Yeah.
So, and that's, you can see the little bean on the poster. That's the first one-man show is
Nice.
Grafenberg.
That's awesome.
Presents the Fun Dumpster. So it's just a name that I always liked. It was the best dick joke never told. It's highbrow, lowbrow.
Oh, cool.
So I love that because it sounds professional, but if you know what it means, it's the G-spot. It's the doctor that discovered the G-spot is Ernst Grafenberg. So, and that's the sketch show we're doing. We have a whole through line of the Kinsey reports and like through Dr. Grafenberg, and
Cool.
we treat exploring comedy like they explored sexuality. So
Nice.
it's really fun.
That is fun.
So that's where the name came from.
That's awesome.
And I just loved it. It was like, you remember it if
And it's
you
just
know
a
it.
name anyway. It's like
Yeah,
people
it's-
put a lot more into what a name than what it should be.
and I've had people tell me, "Oh, you got to change it. People don't know." I was like, "No one
Doesn't
gives a
matter.
shit." When
Yeah.
people came up with annoyance, they said, that's weird." When people said
Yeah.
Upright Citizens Brigade, they said that's
That's
too long.
really
You know what I mean? It's like, no, people are you make
It's what
the
you
name.
do, yeah.
Your product is the name, and if you have a memorable name with it, I think people will remember it.
Of course.
So that started up when I was just kind of producing my own stuff. It's just kind of like, this is so people know that I think it looks stupid when it's Justin Franzen produces. You know,
Oh, of
I don't
course.
need my
It has to
name
be under
splattered all over
something.
everything.
Yeah.
I think it's better to create a product of, this is a show that people come perform at. And as that started happening more and more, I was just growing differently than Bovine was growing, and it happened that Voodoo was opening up right then.
Yeah. Fantastic.
So I went down for maybe a month and then came over to Voodoo with a fair amount of my shows.
Nice.
And coaching and stuff, because I had helped set up the house team program at Bovine, because that
Cool.
was super
Yeah.
important to me, was not making sure just I can do well, but making sure there's a decent what is it? Quality controlled house team program.
Yeah.
So you're constantly creating new content with grads. But you're also constantly keeping the bar of performance somewhere.
Yeah.
Didn't necessarily work out because it wasn't my theater, it wasn't my vision.
Of course.
And
which goes that way a lot of times. You know, it's not one or other people's fault. It's just like people are going in different directions.
Yeah. And it wasn't my playground to build the tool. You know,
Yeah.
it wasn't. Yes, it was, but in the sense it wasn't in the bigger sense.
Of course.
So when I went to Voodoo. That's where I helped out a bunch, and that's where I really was able to, I'd say, find my feeding, because then that's when I started the training center.
Oh, yeah.
And that started through drop-ins, and then I was teaching
Cool.
those, and then teaching level 1, and then I was teaching, there's a couple times I've taught all the levels.
Yeah.
You know, it's just what you do.
Of course.
And was able to get more and more teachers in, and I keep a very asshole standard in the sense of who teaches.
Of course, you should. Keep the quality up.
And I've got some great teachers underneath us. You know, like Charlie Wilkins, he's got 18 years Chicago experience.
Yeah.
No one knows who the hell he is.
Of course.
Because he was on the same team as Middlevich and Miller.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah, you're just like, Jesus Christ. And he wanted to do raw chocolate, and they ended up wanting to do Silicon Valley. You know what I mean? And he just settled here. He's a fucking great dude and a great brain, so he's awesome to have. So it just kind of started growing, and then started growing more nationally in the sense of I saw someone I always looked up to is Jill Bernard.
Yeah, of course.
Because she went back to Minnesota. She studied Chicago, went back to Minnesota, and runs that shit
Respected
now.
her roots and makes a living off of it there. Huge up there, or huge everywhere, really.
Well, yeah, because bearded men travel all the hell over.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a core thing. So I always looked up at her, but she always hubbed out of there and taught all over the country.
Yeah.
And that was so cool because it's not only am I making a living doing this, but I get to travel finally because I never could fucking travel. I was a broke improviser my whole life. You know, I think I traveled for maybe 2 festivals.
Oh, and that was still paying for them on the credit card.
Oh, totally. Jesus. 7 guys in one hotel room.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
No thanks.
So then I was like, well, gosh, now if we can expand it. And I started the house team program at Voodoo, and both house team programs are still running. But when I got the show at Deer Pile, I wanted to start creating. My idea was a roofless comedy club. A comedy club without a roof is I can be in multiple locations, but because the name is recognizable, you can follow it kind of like a food truck, if you will.
Of course, you know where to find out where it's going on. That's a brilliant idea.
So that's why I was doing shows at Voodoo and Deer Pile, and then. When I moved out of Voodoo just probably a few months ago into Atlas, that was a whole new game changer.
Underneath the church.
Oh yeah, that was that was
this little cool black box theater underneath the church.
Oh God! And when I first quit was probably 2 years ago, and I was working a warehouse job, and I was going out to New York to film a bunch of sketches, the Cell Block Bistro stuff. They were flying me out to film that. Plus, I had a workshop and shows. So it was like, I'm going to New York to teach, film sketches, and do shows, and do it with Rick Andrews, which is a really well-known improviser at Armando Diaz's theater.
That's so brilliant.
So it was like the improv little nerd in me was so excited, and he was like, the boss, is British dick, was like, well, if you're going to take that time off, just don't come back. And I was like, fine.
I'm done.
Fuck you, I'm out.
Been happy ever since.
And that was kind of where I just learned that you have to take the jump. If you
some
put the 40
point,
hours
you
a week,
put the time into way for long before, but there is that time where it comes.
And it's never a shortage of talent; it's a shortage of drive.
Yeah,
it's why I don't like, but I'll hear people being like, "Oh, how's she over there running that stuff? She's not even good." And it's like, "Well, fuck you. She's better than you are."
And you're the one that's being like, "Oh, I would, but I don't have the time to do that."
She's the one that went to Arapahoe Community College to ask them if they could teach it, if she could teach their improv, and they said yes. That was all the conversation difference between your life and hers was.
Of course, and don't be jealous about it. Go out and do something about it.
Get off your ass and stop bitching. It's so easy to throw rocks, man.
Oh my God, it's so much easier too. It's so much harder to put the whole work in. Everybody wants to write a screenplay and has an idea, but how many people write a screenplay? A lot of people do write a screenplay. But
oh God,
too many.
But so the next step with Grafenberg is now hopefully helping other people do this for a living.
Yeah. That's a really cool idea.
Is every performer on my Fridays and Saturday nights, all money stops at the door. Everyone that gets on my stage gets a percentage.
Cool.
No, it's nothing great, but if we all plug in, we all do quality shows.
If you're
and
bringing
stuff.
people out, you're promoting your own shows, you're doing what you need to do to promote your shows. Yeah, there should be.
Our sketch comedy group, the Kinsey Reporters, we're looking. We got a new space, Barrel's Beer Company.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
It's not even open yet. We're still in
build
construction.
the stage out.
Yeah, it's cool fucking space.
Where's it down at?
31st and Blake. Barrel's
Definitely.
Beer Company. Beryl's.
Definitely. I mean, this is going to launch this weekend so people can get the in on it early.
Yeah.
They'll know.
I think we'll be popping up, I'd say, the second Monday in November.
That's the coolest.
We'll be bringing Shit Your Pants Awesome over there.
Nice.
And eventually, the other thing is with the Kinsey Reporters, we've got a sketch review that's a solid sketch review. And it's a 2-act review. We put some work into this bad
awesome.
boy. But
you directed it, right?
Mm-hmm,
Nice.
Mm-hmm. Which was a funny process in and of itself.
That's at the Atlas Theater?
It is for now, yeah.
For now.
And that's Saturdays at 8, Silk by the Kinsey Reporters.
That's
and it's
pretty
Monty
cool.
Python meets South Park beautifully. It's great.
That's the coolest.
We spent 6 weeks writing some sketches because we wanted to. I think Colorado humor is going after the throat of anyone.
Oh,
There's no
absolutely,
holds
man. When I go on the
fucking
road, I see we're jokes.
Mm-hmm.
Where a lot of other people beat around the bush. No,
Yeah.
we're jokes.
Yeah, and we also don't leave anyone out of our
No,
range.
yeah,
We're
pretty
coming after
universal,
everyone.
too. Yeah.
And I really like that aspect. So now we got this show together and writing it. But if we all do our job right as a group, they can all do this as a part-time job.
Yeah, if they play it right, they promote it right.
Because they get a decent cut. I'm not that producer that's going to screw them over because I'm nothing without. It's me
Plus,
without
even if you took all the money and were a dick about it, you're not going to get rich anyway. You know what I mean? Like, even if you're a jerk about it and take all the cash, you're not going to be doing brilliant either. It's not.
And the whole idea is so we all can do it in the sense of like, yeah, man, like you should be getting a cut.
Because this is something that you have to do,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like especially as you go more and more into this, it's something we have to do, not necessarily even want to,
Well, and people deserve it. It was like you and I saying, like, no more free shows in this
Yeah.
sense. It's because, when my performers, they ask for comps, I'm like, totally. But just know that comp takes from everyone's pie.
Yeah.
So, and now people are really starting to support more in the
it's
sense.
a $3 show anyway.
Well, yeah, it's fucking $10 on a weekend. Like, Jesus Christ. And it gets you a free beer now at Barrel.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, yeah. So it's like $10,
Tough.
you get beer and a show. Oh, fuck.
Cool.
So, yeah, we're excited, man. And that's the big goal, I think, is I hope I can help other people do this for a living.
Yeah.
Not just me.
I would think if anybody could do it, it'd be you, sweet daddy.
No, we'll see.
Guys, I want to thank everybody out there for listening. I want to thank Justin so much for joining me. Anything else you want to plug? We plug the shows.
Let's see. Friday nights, we've got East of stuff in Foursquare.
Nice.
So that's
Atlas Theater.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
And that'll be moving to Barrels.
Cool.
And East of stuff is the group I'm on, where it's all of us Chicago, well, just kind of all of us vets.
Yeah.
We added up the experience.
The All-Star Squad.
We've got 100 years experience.
Every
on the dot.
town has like a super A squad, like the All-Star Crew, which is what that's going to be.
And then there's No Disqualification, which is our challenge show.
Cool. That's awesome.
Which has been where it's not like a competition, but it's you get a challenge where one group had to perform with their eyes closed while they were on stage for their whole set.
That's gnarly.
It's but they work their way up to Oh Shit, and it's a show in New York, and the last Oh Shit, where you get this. It's such a weird challenge. You don't think anyone could do it. They got a dog donated from an animal shelter, and the group had to find the dog a home by the end of their set. And they couldn't take the dog.
That's great.
And they ended up doing it. It's a great blog.
It
and
helps dogs out.
So, yeah, it's little 10-year-old dachshund found a home, a fucking farm in Connecticut, and mom and her son.
Charles the dachshund.
And so it's just fun stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, and then Saturday nights at 8 is Silk at the Atlas Theater.
Cool.
But I'd say find all our stuff at Grafenberg Productions. Follow us at Funny Grafenberg. Our website, grafenbergproductions.com. You can see all of our information and all that good stuff, that magic.
Heck yeah. Follow us on Twitter at Words with Wayman. I want to thank you once again for joining us.
Thank you, sir, for having me.
Yeah, thank you. And thank everybody else for listening. That has been Words with Wayman with Justin Franzen. And thank you all so much for listening again, and we will see you all soon.